Welcome to Our Schools, Our City. It's hard to imagine, Susana, but it is February and we have not yet had a snow day. The schools are in just such a good place with so much activity going on, and everyone's had wonderful holidays, and now we come into sort of where we begin to see spring. It's a little bit closer to us.
That's right.
And as that happens, our students are fully engaged both in school and out of school, and that's actually the topic of our session today, is what happens in our out-of-school time programming.
It's really amazing. We are in the midst of winter, but we're also in the midst of planning for the upcoming summer break, and for the upcoming February and April breaks as well.
Right.
And in Somerville, we're really lucky to have some outstanding partners that are as committed to the work of supporting youth outside of the classroom as we are to supporting youth in the classroom.
That's right. And, out-of-school time, which is our session today, has been a topic that and something that we felt very committed to in the Somerville Public Schools, because we really want to give our students every opportunity, both in school and in all of those hours after school and during the summer and in vacation time, when students can continue to grow and have fun and learn and be together. And so we really make a concentrated effort to bring in programming that we know is just high quality caliber and can complement our community schools program, particularly for our middle school grades.
That's right.
Of which we're very fortunate, because we have two very special fifth graders with us today.
We do.
Want to introduce our guests?
I'd be happy to introduce them. So first of all, we have Jose Mendez, who is the out-of-school time coordinator for the city of Somerville and works very closely with the school district as well. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jose.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We're looking forward to hearing about all the great work that's happening in the out-of-school realm.
Thank you.
And we also have Restrepo, who works with Citizen Schools, and she brought a couple of fifth grade students with her. Would you like to introduce your students, Iris? Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for inviting us. We are very excited to be here with you. Yes, Edson is with me today, and Maya, one of our fifth graders. They are representing the school because the fellow decided that they were the most representative for citizen schools.
That's great. And both of these students are fifth grade students at the East Somerville Community School and are very actively involved in the Citizen Schools program as well. Thank you all for joining us. We're happy to have you here.
Thanks for inviting us.
That's great. So Jose, you've come in with a very large charge of, really understanding what we're doing for our out-of-school time. There's so many wonderful programs that are going on in our city, both as part of the school district and then in the city itself. And part of that is really getting a sense of the landscape. So maybe you could tell the audience a little bit about how exciting things are right now.
Things are really exciting in the city of Somerville. What's going on in the out-of-school time field right now here is really exciting for me to get into and to learn more about and to really help support the number of partners that are doing a lot of great work, whether they're private entities or whether they're like citizen schools working in the school facility. Everyone is focused on doing what is best for the youth, and I'm hopefully going to be able to be a part of that and help support them in that effort.
That's right. You had a great background coming into this. Maybe just talk a little bit about
Sure.
how this came to be.
No, definitely. I've been doing youth work for most of my career. I started in California with a little after-school program in college and fell in love with out-of-school time programming. From there, I've worked several summer camps in multiple countries and multiple states, and finally was recently in the city of Cambridge, but now I've come to the city of Somerville as the out-of-school time coordinator, looking to leverage the resources and the great work that's going on already and making it better for all the youth in Somerville. That's
great. Well, we're certainly very fortunate and happy to have you here.
I appreciate that.
Been tremendous so far, and looking forward to a lot of good work ahead. So, for citizen schools, for our community out here to know a little bit about what it is. I had the good fortune of working with Citizen Schools in Boston, and it was one of the organizations I very much wanted to see come here to Somerville, and I'm very happy that you have. But for our audience, could you just describe a little bit about it?
Yeah, sure. Before I can describe what Citizen School is, I'm going to share with you a little of who I am.
Great.
And an immigrant from Colombia who came to this country with a lot of dreams, but lack of knowledge and understanding the culture. And it was thanks to a school like Citizen Schools who helped me to find my community.
That's great.
The students that look like me and I look like them, and we share the same values, cultural aspects. So that's exactly what Citizen School does. Citizen School is trying always to focus on students who are underrepresented, students who need a little push, trying to find a better future, an opportunity to have experiences that usually they don't because of the circumstances around their families and their communities. But Citizen School is thinking ahead and saying every single child has an opportunity to bright, to bring the best to our country, and we're going to open that pathway for them.
That's great.
And that's
Yeah.
what we do.
That's fantastic.
Wonderful.
What grade levels are you working at? Both of the students that are here today are from the East Somerville Community School. So what grade levels is Citizen Schools working with students at that school?
We do 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Okay. And about how many students do you have in the program
We
now?
have around 100 students.
Okay.
Great.
It's wonderful.
It's wonderful. And actually, East Somerville was our first Citizen School site. And this year, we also have it at Winter Hill. So, you know, and this is the plan, is to be able to have some of our partners working in different schools so that all students in Somerville have that opportunity to be able to be attached to one of the programs and participate. So we're very fortunate to have you at Citizen Schools and at East. It's a great school. So for our students, what do you do in Citizen Schools? What's a day like?
So like, what do we do in there?
Yeah.
Basically, I'm just gonna say why personally I like Citizen Schools is because when it teaches us something that we probably won't learn in like some other schools that have like very low pouring, and they like still, I don't know how to put it into words kind of, but like I just like it. It's very entertaining and we get to have fun, and I just like how they actually put effort into us.
That's great.
And they just care about us.
Do you get to work with other community partners that come in, other organizations that might come in and do some projects with you? Is that part of what you enjoy?
Yes.
Okay. How about you, Maya?
Can I explain what we do in Citizen School?
Absolutely.
That'd be great.
So first we have our snack, and then we do homework. And then we have these clubs where we do things. And 2 of the days out of the week, people from places like Google and Microsoft and other organizations come.
Some
And
pretty big organizations, right?
yes, and they teach us stuff. And sometimes we get to go off campus and learn about things like robotics or coding.
That's fantastic.
Great. That's great. What's an example of a project that you're working on that you really like?
I'm working on building this nation. It's not real, but we have to like choose stuff like who lives there, what it looks like, how it was made, and like the government and stuff.
That's fantastic. Do you work as a group with other members of the Citizen Schools team? Other classmates?
Yes.
That's great.
That's awesome. And do you see, so some of the fellows, the Citizen School fellows, do you see them during the school day too? They're at East, right? So
Yep.
you get to see them. And I think that's one of the things that's very unique about the model, is that the fellows are working during the day so that they build relationships with the students. And then they get to see them after school.
Like Ms. Restrepo, are you there during the day, Ms. Restrepo?
I actually completed my master program in UMass, if I can say the name. So I have a mentor who is wonderful, Ms. Sanchez, and I'm with her most of the morning.
Wonderful.
And then I sometimes share time with them in cafeteria, and after program is where I am with them in the classroom.
Right.
Sorry. Jose, in terms of Citizen Schools is one wonderful example of programming. What are some of the other exciting out-of-school time programs that are happening?
Sure. There are a few out-of-school time programs that I'm really excited about. One in particular is Parts and Crafts. Parts and Crafts is an out-of-school time program that serves kids between 7 years old and about 14. And what it allows them to do is rummage through what they call a makerspace. What Makerspace essentially is has a lot of different tools and objects and different kinds of crafts and things for them to do, and it allows them to kind of explore different kinds of topics, work on different kinds of projects, and it's very, very unique in the out-of-school time setting because of sort of the openness of what programming is available to the kids who attend there. And that's just one of the programs. Another program I'm excited about in particular is what's going on at the Mystic Learning Center at the Somerville Housing Authority. Fluffy, I should say, Fluffy, the director of the Mystic Learning Center, is doing over there.
She's fantastic,
She's phenomenal. Her work is invaluable because it's serving the most vulnerable in the city of Somerville, but it's also offering those kids an opportunity to not only engage with students from Tufts, but also allow them to support them academically for their homework, as well as engage them in different kinds of activities that would they otherwise wouldn't necessarily be able to access, specifically technological literacy, as well as general academic support like for math and English. It's really, really great work that's going on there.
You know, the out of school time in general, there's so much more flexibility of how you can work with students. Both of you are in the out of school time. What attracts you about that time, and how do you see it different than the school day?
It is interesting that for many kids are already tired after classes ended. But somehow, for magic, I guess, they become very active, and I think that is precisely the relevance of the proposal that we bring to them to share with them, and I think that that's the motivation itself. So it's when they get engaged, and we had such beautiful results with students in school and other programs.
Of course.
And it is very much about learning, but just in a different way, right?
Absolutely. This learning style is precisely kind of a movement that students in school has in other programs, I imagine, that is change the way that education is perceived, especially after school programs.
Right.
How students are learning nowadays. We have geniuses everywhere.
Right.
We are just opening spaces for them to shine.
That's right.
That's right. So maybe describe a little bit about the structure of citizen schools, like how many fellows are at the East and what they do during the day, and then what they do in the out of school time.
Citizen School is a company. It's a very interesting company. Very diverse. They really focus in diversity. That's an example of that. And we are going to this job for 2 years. The first year we work with the students. We have professional developing days. And the second year we give them the opportunity to go to UMass and finish a master program in a year.
That's fantastic.
And it's fantastic because through those 3 years, at least for me, my life has changed in the perception of America, thanks to the input of all those young professionals that come to work with citizen schools. So they absolutely the focus of concentration is the future of our young kids and how we're going to make them become individuals with a voice.
So you mentioned that you have a mentor at the school. So what does that entail? Are you in the classroom supporting them in whatever way they need support during the school day, and then in the evening or in the afternoon you work with students?
Yes, that's my case as a resident, because that's the name that is given to this person who in the second year is finishing the master. So the resident stays with the mentor during the morning. Co-teaching at the beginning obviously was the participation is going to be minimal, but with the time it's the progress you can co-teach with. In my case, my mentor has been amazing, very supportive, understand who I am as a person, my culture, and she opened spaces for me. My fellows, the other co-workers from Citizen School, they support other teachers in reading classes.
Okay, that's
our work during the morning. Then after the school program in the morning finish, we support with a recess and cafeteria, and then we start the program.
Okay.
And we bring all those different apprenticeships.
So you really become part of the community.
We are
That's one of the
absolutely.
keys.
We are actually treated as staff members.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that that's really something unique with the Citizen Schools
Mhm.
model is to have the staff with students during the day
Right.
and the teachers, you know, to be able to have them seen as part of the community. And then, you know, for the students in the after-school hours, it makes it much more much easier, and they already have relationships with the adults,
Mhm.
and so it kind of just flows. So for the students, how do you think Citizen Schools helps you be a better student?
I think personally I like it a lot because it makes me better as a person because I got really interested into coding
Ah,
because I signed up for an apprenticeship to go to the the Microsoft,
Mhm.
and we got to do very interesting stuff, and basically we got to code like robots.
mhm.
We got to mess around with lasers.
Cool.
We got to
Sounds really cool.
yeah. It's also very cool because you get to print stuff, and it's like kind of like a ball pit for kids, but
Mhm.
kind of not because it's really dangerous. But
Mm.
yeah,
So possibly something that you might decide to pursue
Yeah.
as a career, right?
Because you know, when you code, you're actually practicing math. It's
Mhm.
like a skill that's in the, it's thinking, it's logic, it's wonderful for reinforcing math and science inquiry, like that's all part of coding. Is that, you know, it sounds like you've had a couple of different field trips out, you know, to, you said Microsoft. What's been your favorite place to go so far?
throughout the year or the semester,
Hmm.
I think probably Microsoft or maybe Google has been most interesting because honestly I'm just speechless to like meet with employees that make like millions, like a company that makes like billions and billions of dollars,
Mhm.
and like how we get to like interact with the employees that work there
Mm.
to make that company a company.
Mm. Yeah, that's a good point. You
Yeah.
get to sort of see if you work really hard and you gain those skills and you think, you know, you're very creative, you could end up being in one of those companies.
Mm.
Maya, how about you? Which company did you like visiting?
I've only been to Google, and
Okay.
I really liked it.
Yeah, what'd you like about it?
I liked how we got to code and make robots and work as a team.
Ah,
That's
working as a team, that's a pretty important skill. How do you think it makes you a better student by being part of Citizen School? I know this is your first year in
They help us with homework
it.
if we need help, and we also learn things that can help us in the real world.
Mhm. Like communication or interacting with people?
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, and really the Citizen Schools model is to stay in the 5th grade and then move up each grade, right? And as you go a little bit further up, you help the younger students as well. So there's a lot of mentoring that goes on.
Absolutely, and always in our minds is how to prepare in their level to make them realize how important it is to dream with going to college.
That's
Right.
So that's in the future a missing connection we need to create with the high schools
Right.
and be able that they, if not with colleges, because
Mhm.
my understanding is that, for example, if I can mention Bunker Community College has some commitments to connect the students since they are in school,
Mhm.
in high school, to make sure that they finish college level. And that's our hope for the middle school students.
Iris mentioned earlier how important, how much they were part of the community. They are part of the East Somerville Community School. And community building is a really important piece of what Jose is doing in terms of within the city of Somerville. Can you talk a little bit about the out-of-school time task force and what they're doing and what you're working on to support students?
Sure, no, not a problem. The Out of School Time Task Force is made up of public and private providers who come together monthly and talk about issues involving the out-of-school time field. One particular topic that we're talking about and working on right now is developing sort of an MOU, which is a Memorandum of Understanding, is essentially an agreement between the providers that allows us to identify how we're going to share information, how we're going to share resources. And it's also allowing us to partner in ways that we haven't done before.
Right.
So coming up, we have our February Vacation Pilot Program that's made up of providers from the Out-of-School Time Task Force. And we're going to be learning how to work together, learning how to communicate in ways that haven't really occurred before, and we're going to be providing unique programming that hasn't really been available in the city of Somerville in the way that we're providing it. So we have a Somerville Media Center, Parkour Generations Boston, Unruly Splats, as well as the YMCA coming together to provide this program that's going to be very unique and hopefully will be a very interesting part of the February Vacation Week for the youth that participate.
That sounds fantastic.
You know, as you look down the road and you think 3 or 4 years from now, what would you like to see the out-of-school time look like in Somerville?
Sure. I mean, 3 to 4 years, I'd like to see the out-of-school time network being able to support every student in the city of Somerville. Anyone who wants to participate in out-of-school time should get access to any kind of programming that their child would like to be participating in.
Right.
That's my grand vision.
It's great. It's a great vision. I think the more that we can offer opportunities, to Iris's point, to let our students show their brilliance and be able to really have a place that they're building their own community, you know, in their schools, I think that's a great place to be. And we have so many talented providers that are about the youth in Somerville that connecting them all together is a big thing. So for Edson and Maya, you know, next year when you're a 6th grader, some students are going to be looking at citizen schools and trying to decide, do I want to join? And some might say, well, I could go home, just kind of hang out, maybe play video games, or maybe like, you know, just watch television. You know, why would I want to stay every day at school until 5 o'clock or 5:30? What would you say to them?
I honestly am bored when I'm at home all day. So I would tell them that it's a good activity for you. You get help with homework, and you also get to do fun things.
Yeah. Because you get to spend time with your friends and maybe even make new friends, right? Yeah.
And if they said, what kind of fun things would I be able to do? What would you say?
Go to Google.
Ah, go to Google. That's a pretty fun thing.
Yeah. I've never been to Google. I'd love to.
And if
go.
they said, but what do you do? What do you do during that time? What would you say?
Well, since I haven't finished the whole year, I can't say that much about it. But at Google we made robots, so I would tell them that we get to build robots and program them, and just have fun.
Great. That's what about you?
I would want someone to join citizen schools because, or I want them to stay because it's it's just a place where like you can enjoy life. And really I don't think people at home, like, this is not for everybody, but like it's not, their life at home is kind of more, like if you're at school it's kind of more interesting because you get to learn. But if you're at home, you don't learn anything. You're just there, like, home, just staying there. And I would rather, if I was just there and I had citizen schools, I would just rather go to citizen schools because, one, you get to pick your apprenticeship. You get to pick where you want to go. And you don't have to, it doesn't give you a specific thing where you have to do this or that. Like, of course, you need to still follow the directions, but like you can at least pick your apprenticeship or campus thing like you want. You can't just,
So you have some choice in it.
Yeah,
some choice. What you like. And what is an apprenticeship?
An apprenticeship is a company or like an armed force that connects bonds with citizen schools, and we get to either field trip, like go there, and we get to just have fun with the workers and stuff.
So you spend time learning with the workers.
Yeah.
That's great. Wow.
And it sounds like they're learning some really important leadership skills. They're
Absolutely.
taking leadership roles in this.
And how to work together,
Yep.
right, in the community. That's great. So Iris, when you think about the end of the year, having these brilliant students, what do you hope for them by the end of the year that they'll come away with?
I just don't have to wait until the end of the year to put that hope in my head, because every day that pass, we see growth, and we see how much they love what they do, and the interest for new things. So every time that we experience this program with the student, is like they surprise us.
Yeah.
They bring to our minds things that we didn't expect. They make us realize that it's not because they couldn't do it.
Right.
It was because the tools were not given to them.
Right.
So at the end of the year, we just need to celebrate with WOWs, which is a big celebration, exposition of all the work that they have done. Obviously, they are going to present their work and what they have learned. And basically, it's a big party of happiness and gratitude.
I went to
Looking
that.
forward to
I
that.
went to that big party last year, and there were rockets shooting out and all kinds of different projects that the students were showing. So proud of, and having worked with their mentors. So it is definitely a great party, and we will invite the community when that party happens at the end of the year.
Everybody's welcome.
Absolutely, thank you. And believe it or not, we're out of time. Our show goes so fast.
It does. It goes by so fast.
But you guys were great, and I learned so much about citizen schools from the students. And Iris, thank you, and Jose. I know we have a couple of announcements.
Yes, just a quick reminder to please stay connected. Follow us on social media and visit our website to learn what's happening in our schools and in our city. And also, February vacation is right around the corner. Monday, February 18th, all schools and district offices will be closed for President's Day, and schools will be closed for the remainder of the week. And I think Edson was giving that a thumbs up.
Yeah, we definitely saw the thumbs up from the side, which is great. And we also want to thank our crew here who helps us to bring the show to you every single month. So a special thanks to Steve DiCarlo and Joe Constantine, Lenny Scalera, and Ben Martin. Welcome. And so we want to thank all, and we will see you next month.